Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Good Morning Hebrew Home. I am your host for Friday, Lisa Murray. Today is Friday, June 11th. The weather for today, partly cloudy skies, and it says a high of 82, but it is feeling a little cooler today, for sure. On this day in history, in 1927, future Baseball Hall of Fame slugger Babe Ruth hits 19th and 20th homers of MLB season record 60 home runs in New York's 6-4 win over the Cleveland Indians at Yankee Stadium. In 1927, Charles Lindbergh is awarded the first Distinguished Flying Cross. In 1928, Alfred Hitchcock's film Case of Jonathan Drew, or The Lodger, is released. In other famous films, in 1937, the Marx Brothers' A Day at the Races, directed by Sam Wood, is released. In 1939, the King and Queen of England, I thought this was interesting, taste the first hot dogs at FDR's party. In 1947, World War II sugar rationing finally ends in the United States. It began in May 28, 1942. In 1951, New York Times reports the New York City subway will auction off things found. In 1959, the Postmaster General bans D.H. Lawrence's book, Lady Chatterley's Lover, overruled by U.S. Court of Appeals in March 1960. In 1962, Julie and Carol at Carnegie Hall, musical comedy variety special with Julie Andrews and Carol Burnett, premieres on CBS. If you haven't seen that, and I bet a lot of people have, I would totally recommend you watch it. It's on YouTube. In 1964, Manfred Mann recorded Do Wah Diddy Diddy Dum Diddy Do. Are you familiar? I bet you are. In 1966, On a Clear Day, You Can See Forever closes at Mark Hellinger in New York City after 280 performances. In 1966, Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones peaks at #1 in the U.S. In 1966 as well, Janis Joplin plays her first gig in San Francisco. In 1982, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Henry Thomas and Drew Barrymore, is released. On to famous birthdays. We're going back for this one, but I think it's worth it. In 1880, Jeannette Rankin was born, an American politician and the first woman elected to U.S. Congress. She was a women's rights advocate and a pacifist, born in Missoula, Montana. In 1913, Vince Lombardi, American Pro Football Hall of Fame coach, Green Bay Packers 1949-67, NFL Coach of the Year in 1959-61, Super Bowl 1967-68, was born in Brooklyn, New York. And in 1933, Gene Wilder, born Jerome Silberman, which I didn't know, American actor known for such films as Blazing Saddles, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Oh, Wisconsinite, I had no idea. So moving on to birthdays. In staff birthdays today, I want to wish a very happy birthday to David F. from ITTS. Thank you so much, David F. He was so instrumental in getting all of what you see here set up at the very beginning and throughout the very beginnings of Good Morning Hebrew Home. So a very special happy birthday to David from us here at Good Morning Hebrew Home. On Saturday, Jenya, Rejoice, and Edward from nursing. And Sunday, Shifra from clinical nutrition, Paul from nursing, and Leanne from home health. In resident birthdays, Maddie L. and Andrea S. today. And on Sunday, Jeffrey K. and Hugo V. A big happy birthday from all of us here at Good Morning Hebrew Home. And now let's get on to the exciting part, the meals. So our meals for today, the non-kosher meals are, the lunch today is pepperoni pizza and Caesar salad with peaches for dessert. The dinner is country vegetable soup, beef brisket, potato pancakes, Malibu blend vegetables, and chocolate cake. Tomorrow, the lunch will be beer battered baked fish, sweet potato, parsley, cauliflower, and marbled pound cake. Dinner will be cream of broccoli soup, California vegetable sandwich with potato chips, and strawberry ice cream. Sunday, the lunch will be southern fried chicken with seasoned diced potatoes, collard greens, fudge supreme cookies. Dinner will be stracciatella soup. The entree will be broiled salmon, orzo mushrooms, and the dessert will be fruit cocktail. The kosher menus for the weekend. Lunch will be roasted salmon, pasta primavera, roasted peppers and corn with peaches for dessert. The dinner will begin with chicken pastina soup. The entree will be stuffed cabbage and steamed carrots with chocolate cake for dessert. For kosher lunch tomorrow, roast chicken, sweet potato kugel, roasted lemon zucchini, and marble cake. Dinner will be butternut squash soup with cheese ravioli, sauteed mushroom and onions, and strawberry ice cream. And for Sunday, the kosher lunch will be meatballs, yellow rice, broccoli with garlic sauce, and fudge supreme cookies. And the dinner will be black bean soup, penne alla vodka, my favorite, sauteed spinach, and fruit cocktail for dessert. So those are your meals for the weekend. So instead of a positive news story for the day, I thought our positive news, we could talk about Pride Month, which is already underway. So Pride Month happens in June. And though it continues to look different this year as the country emerges from the COVID-19 pandemic, that does not mean that we shouldn't be celebrating the work of the LGBTQ activists who have changed the world. So let's ask and answer a few questions. What is Pride Month? Pride Month is an entire month dedicated to the uplifting of LGBTQ voices, celebration of LGBTQ culture, and the support of LGBTQ rights. Throughout the month of June, nationwide, there have traditionally been parades, protests, drag performances, live theater, and memorials and celebrations of life for members of the community who have lost their lives to HIV/AIDS. It is part political activism, part celebration of all the LGBT community has achieved over the years. What is the pride symbol? You probably knew that the rainbow flag, created by artist Gilbert Baker in 1978, is used as a symbol of LGBTQ pride, but did you know that each color on the flag has its own meaning? In the widely known 6-color flag, red is symbolic of life, orange is symbolic of spirit, yellow is sunshine, green is nature, blue represents harmony, and purple is spirit. In the original 8-color flag, hot pink was included to represent sex and turquoise to represent magic and art. There have been many variations on the flag. In 2021, the flag was altered in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter protests, including black to represent diversity, brown to represent inclusivity, and light blue and pink, the colors of the trans pride flag. Why do we celebrate in June? We celebrate in June to coincide with the catalyst of the gay liberation movement that was the Stonewall Uprising. In the early morning hours of June 28, 1969, police raided a popular gay bar in New York City's West Village, the Stonewall Inn. This was commonplace for the time, but on this particular evening, the patrons of the bar fought back, starting the Stonewall riots, which went on for days. The Stonewall Inn was declared a historic landmark by the City of New York in 2015 and later named a national monument by President Barack Obama in 2016. This June is the 51st anniversary of the first Pride Parade, which happened in 1970, 1 year after the uprising. Who were some of the major figures involved? Marsha P. Johnson is often credited with throwing the first punch at the Stonewall Inn, though there are many prominent figures who are also rumored to have done so. She was a black trans woman celebrating her 25th birthday at the time of the riots and a tour de force in the gay community. She passed away in 1992 at just 46 years old after police found her body in the Hudson River. Her death was initially ruled a suicide, despite friends and loved ones insisting that could not be the case. Sylvia Rivera was an activist and self-professed drag queen who also played a part in the Stonewall riots. She fought for transgender rights alongside Marsha P. Johnson, creating STAR, Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, to help house homeless LGBTQ youth. She advocated for transgender rights until her passing in 2002. Stormy Delavray was a gay rights activist and drag performer who was also at Stonewall when it was raided that night. Her friend, Lisa Canistracci, told the New York Times upon her death in 2014, "Nobody knows who threw the first punch, but it's rumored that she did, and she said that she did. She told me she did." Here are some easy ways to celebrate here at the home. So, you may see some of these flyers in the elevators or on your monitors, and I want to tell you about a few of the events that we're putting on to celebrate. So the first one is today. I believe it's our 4th annual, although my LGBT and Allies group members will let me know if I'm wrong, but our 4th annual Pride Table hosted by the LGBT and Allies group. It'll be today from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. down at 42nd Street near the Biederman Library here at the home. I hope you come join us. Wednesday, June 16th, next Wednesday, Deb will be having a Pride-themed wellness program at 1:30 on Channel 8. On Tuesday, June 22nd, Emily O'Leary, the associate curator here, will be doing an art talk, Pride and Art at the Hebrew Home, LGBTQ plus artists in the permanent collection. That'll be June 22nd, 1:30 p.m. on Channel 8. And our big end of Pride Month celebration that we've been doing for years, our annual Pride concert featuring Hebrew Home staff and residents. That'll be Wednesday, June 30th, 2:30 p.m. in the Winter Garden live, but also on Channel 8 if you can't make it down. And feel free to stop by 42nd Street to check out some of our displays. We've got a display of our LGBTQIA plus Hall of Fame with folks who have done great achievements in the fields of sports, arts, science, and politics. So, with all of those ways to celebrate, I hope that you will join us in celebrating Pride Month here at the home. Well, that's it for us today. Tune in later today for Catholic services at 11:15 and Shabbat Shalom at 3 p.m. Today's Broadway matinee at 2 p.m. on Channel 88 is The Prom. It's a bit of a newer musical, so here's a brief synopsis if you're not familiar. 4 fading Broadway stars are in desperate need of a new stage. So when they hear that trouble is brewing around a small-town Indiana prom, and the press is involved, they know that it's time to put a spotlight on the issue and themselves. The town's parents want to keep the dance on the straight and narrow, but when one student just wants to bring her girlfriend to prom, the entire town has a date with destiny. Now Broadway's brassiest are coming to join the fight, and they are ready to kickball change the world. If you missed any portion of today's show, it will be replayed on Channel 88 at 6:30, and you can find all of our episodes on YouTube. I won't be here next Friday, but we here at Good Morning Hebrew Home wish you all a wonderful weekend, and you will see the other hosts here next week starting Monday morning at 10:30. Have a great weekend, everyone.